Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about accommodation and what that can mean, how it can be positive, and how it can definitely be negative. We should talk. Hi, friends. This is Bethany Jennings, and you're listening to We Should Talk. It's a podcast where we talk about anything and everything to encourage, equip, and empower you to be a decent human. Let's talk. Hello again. I am here in the music studio on the piano session side. David is on the other side of the studio, and he is currently recording something for a church that he's doing a rally recording for. Anyways, I'm going to make this very brief because I'm actually about to go to a series of meetings, but I didn't get the episode out when I wanted to, so I'm hurrying up and doing this. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. It's an ongoing issue, I think, in a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different settings. It's applicable widely, so take this generally applicable principle and apply it specifically wherever it needs to be in your life. I want to talk about accommodating. Accommodating is good to an extent in that scripturally we should be hospitable, right? I've talked about that in previous episodes, I think, in some of the Bible talks that we've done. But the problem with accommodating can be good and being hospitable. But a lot of times you're like, well, I just want to be accommodating. I want whatever you need, I'll do. And that's great. But at some point, accommodating becomes problematic. Let me give you a specific example. When I was a special education teacher, yes, that was one of my careers. When I was a special education teacher, we had meetings with parents, right, about the students' individualized educational plan. Because according to law, every single student in the special education program needs an individualized plan for them. So when we would have this meeting, sometimes parents were like, my child needs everything read to them. My child needs less work. My child needs assignments adjusted. My child needs, and so they were given all these lists of things to where basically all their child would be doing is making a mark on a paper, and we were supposed to pass them, right? And so what I would tell them is, of course, it depends on the student. Some students, if they had very severe needs, then there was certain things they just couldn't do, and that was understandable. But what I would tell them, I am not going to accommodate your child out of an education. Yes, there are accommodations that they need. There are accommodations that are listed that they might not need. And so what I would do is apply the accommodations one at a time or two at a time and see, is this helping them? If it is, great. If it's not enough, let's add some more. If this is not getting them where they need to be, let's help some more. But a lot of times what is expected, and again, this is not always, but a lot of times what is expected by people who probably just don't understand the process of educating a child, and I was early childhood through 5th. Well, I'm early childhood through 12th, but what I specifically taught was early childhood through 3, and then I worked with through 5th with behavioral intervention. Anyways, a lot of times what they don't always understand is with an early childhood special education student or grade 1 through 3 at special education student, a lot of times they don't understand that you can stop their progress with accommodations. So if I am reading everything to you, if I am counting everything for you, if I am reducing your work, if I'm doing all of those things, then you don't really get a chance to grow and learn. In order for there to be growth, there should be some kind of frustration, some kind of resistance, because that lets you know you're growing. It's just like doing strength training. Of course you can't lift 1,000 pounds deadlift right now, but as you grow, you start with what you can do and you work towards more. And there will be resistance. It's resistance training, right? There will be resistance and your muscles will be sore and all the things because you are growing. Your muscles are growing. And it's the same thing with education. And it's the same thing in relationships. When someone is trying to become a better person or they are trying to break old habits, You cannot be so accommodating that you handicap them. Because just like with education, if I accommodate you so well that you never grow, if I accommodate you so well that you can't function without me, then that is not helpful. That is you becoming dependent on me. And that's not healthy. If someone needs you so much that they can't function without you, that's not healthy. That is problematic. That's not a good relationship. I think a lot of times we see this when people are coming out of addiction. Like, well, I just want to help them. I just want to help them. I just want to help them. Well, they have an addictive nature, right? And so because of their addictive nature, just because they're not addicted to opioids, or they're not addicted to narcotics, or they're not addicted to marijuana, or they may not be addicted to that now, but now they're addicted to you because you have become their new obsession, their new addiction. They can't function without a check-in, and they can't function without, and a lot of times you see this when people go to rehabs, they are around people who have also struggled with that issue or are still struggling with that issue. And because of that, they go beyond encouraging each other and they start enabling each other. There's a very fine line between encouragement and enabling. And when we have to find that line, it's different for everybody. It's different in every situation. But you're going to know the indicators of enabling. You're going to know the indicators that you have gone a little too far and they're a little too dependent on you as a person. You can see this in relationships, in parents and children, adult children, where the parent is so dependent on the adult child emotionally that the adult child ends up becoming their therapist. And a lot of times that has already started before it was an adult child, and the parentification process. And there's an episode on that. Just go listen to it. I don't have a lot of time to go into it right now. But you'll see it where it is, you're not helping them anymore get through their marriage crisis. You're just enabling them to stay in the crisis because they offload their trauma onto you. It's called trauma dumping. They dump everything on you, and woof, I feel so much better having talked to you. Yeah, well, now I've got to sift through all the junk you just poured on me and try to function in my marriage and not carry it into there. So, anyways, I just want you to be fully aware while you are helping people that you do not become harmful. You can really, truly be so accommodating and so helpful that you actually hinder growth. And that's never the goal. That should never be the goal. If that is your goal, that you want someone to be that dependent on you, then you probably have some form of mental disorder or illness. And you should work on that. See somebody, talk about it. Definitely talk to the Lord about it. So, again, very short episode, very quick episode, but something that I really wanted to address, because I'm seeing it more and more and more, because it's, discipleship is happening and it's one-on-one type stuff, or we have a lot of addicts that come into the church, or we have people who are being delivered from certain lifestyles coming into the church. And we definitely believe in deliverance, but discipleship is a process. And when you are discipling someone one-on-one, it can turn into them not being able to serve the Lord without your approval on what they're doing, or they cannot make strides to grow in the Lord without including you in that, and that can become very burdensome to you. The point of discipleship is to not babysit them for the rest of their walk with Christ. The point of discipleship is to teach them the disciplines of Christianity, that they can apply them in their life and become a discipler themselves, right? The point of being a good friend and a listening ear is not for you to be their therapist, unless you are licensed to do that. And I still don't suggest you being a therapist to your friends. It's just not good practice. It's not healthy. So just something to consider when you're helping people. Am I really helping them, or am I hurting them with all of the accommodations I'm doing and all of the accommodating I'm doing? Am I encouraging them, or am I enabling them? And what markers and indicators are telling me that, oh, I am enabling them 100%? Because it actually comes back to bite you, because they're like, well, you told me I could, and you were telling me that I could be, and then they end up blaming you, because of course they're not going to own up to their own mistakes. if they are not in a place mentally to do that. Anyways, just think about it, apply it. I hope this has been helpful. I know it's a short one, but I love you guys, and we will talk soon. Well, that was fun. I'm glad you stuck around for the whole thing. And thank you for talking to me today. Y'all go like and follow and review and do all the podcast things that people do. And don't forget to be a good human.